Well, we're here for a preview of another game that's coming up in a week's time. St Paul's will be playing Greenmore in the senior intermediate championship in Armagh. But we thought we'd take the opportunity to get a preview, a re-preview, if you like, of the ladies' football. Of course, Clann Eireann are in that final again, and they are playing Carickcruppen. A slight controversy, I think, for some at least, that they decided to play the game in Crossmaglen because that takes, well, Clann Eireann further than actually Carickcruppen, and didn't seem to make sense. I don't know if that's been resolved, but first of all I want to get your thoughts on that, Tommy, and ladies football final in general, because you've got big connections there.
Yeah, I suppose I have a few connections there, but for me, if I would have been picking a pitch in Armagh, I would have, that's one of the pitches I would have wanted. I think this pitch suits Clann Eireann down to the ground. It's one of the widest pitches in the county, so with the type of game that Carickcruppen do play, and when they try to close their centre off, they're going to find it that wee bit harder because of the room. It also allow our girls that more space, to use their pace and their speed. So I think it's an excellent venue. Well, it's only down the road in there, so no, we're more than happy with that there. The girls are looking forward to it, and them are driving on. So I think just top of that there is just deflection from what how they really feel about it. I think we'd love to have a pitch that Crossmaglen would suit us a team.
Did they leave the game behind them in the last time round, letting it slip at the very end? Could they have done more during the game, or was it really up pressure on them the whole time?
No, they definitely left it behind them. Anybody who was at the game was no question about that. 75-80% of the play, just couldn't get they just couldn't get the score, the final touch. That's just what was going wrong. And sometimes, and it's more so in the ladies' games, when they miss scores earlier on, they seems to play on their psychic a bit more, and instead of just forgetting about it and getting on with it, it sort of affects them, and that seemed to be the case with Clann Eireann last Saturday night. But I think in StatsCounty we're talking about it and stuff. There's between dropping short saves and wides, there's 24 chances went astray to Carickcruppen's 2, and I think within all that tells its own
story in
itself.
Story, yeah. I mean, the semi-final was very different from that. They seemed to have a tough, maybe in the first half, and the second half of the semi-final it seemed to be much easier, and they kind of pushed forward very much.
Yeah, well, the first half again, the Hearts, the Hearts being champions, and Clann Eireann were playing against the stiff breeze, and although David Park, when you're playing up the Portadown Road end, it's not the scoring end. Clann Eireann was, and played really, really well. The first half I thought moved the ball exceptionally well, took some really good scores, and by going and leading 10-4, 10-5 at half time, whatever it was a very good position for them to be in. They played with the elements in the second half and down towards the scoring end. Got them a couple of early scores, and you could see them growing in confidence, and then everything just started to wing over. And last year was probably in the semi-final last year again, the Harps again. For long periods of that game, Clann Eireann, maybe just as much as I wouldn't go 75-80%, but at least 65-70% of the game, they were in possession and missed a whole lot of scores last year as well. Again, the Harps, and the Harps got a goal at the very end that beat them. So luckily enough, with the penalty at the end, it secured a draw. So they have another chance to redeem themselves on Sunday.
Well, I didn't see the final. I certainly saw the semi-final, and one player definitely caught my eye. Caught an injury at the end of it was Niamh Murray, who was outstanding as a corner forward. Did she perform in the final? I'm not even sure if she was playing, but she stood out. And who else stood out in the final?
None of them played up to where they were. I think Niamh would be the first to admit that she hadn't brought her shooting boots with her last Saturday. So there was a couple of real, overall there was some very good performances, especially defensively. When we look at, I don't want to start naming names, I don't want to leave them out, they're all friends of mine. So, but in the forward line, there was particularly the half forward line, there was some great performances. We go with Niamh Henderson again. My own Niamh worked very, very hard. Donagh McKeown had a great game with Carolina Hanlon, really probably restricted her just to the penalty kick that she got, and it was included, I gave it away. Taylor Grimes was a revelation last Saturday, and Taylor wouldn't mind me saying it, Taylor wouldn't be renowned for her shooting powers, but she stuck 4 vital points over on last Saturday. It was very, very good. Dervla, my own daughter Dervla had a pretty good game from half back, driving forward, along with Maeve McCambridge. So there was some outstanding performances, but what Clann Eireann have to do this week is just learn the lessons from last week. They'll analyse their own game. Don't need me to tell them what to do or what not to do. James Daly's a good manager. He'll know himself, but they don't just get distracted by what's going on around them and focus on their own game fully and just relax. I think they'll win comfortably.
So it might be just a bump in the road here rather than a dead end.
Yeah, well, it could have, it could be, that's one way of putting it, but certainly you have to take your scores in the end of the day, and as long as they just settle down and get a few scores early on, I think they'll go on and win the match.
So life doesn't stand still when the game's over. Whoever wins goes forward to the next round, which is what, a week later, you're telling us?
Yeah, it's a week later. That's what I think there was an element of surprise. There was no extra time because whoever is the fencing winner within there have to go 3 weeks on the trap. There's an awful lot of big ask, especially when you're going in to play the Monaghan champions, who's Donagh in their own backyard.
And Donagh have been world Irish champions for a number of years. Maybe not in the most recent past, but over the years they've been champions for lots and lots of times, and provided Monaghan with great players too.
Oh, they did, sure. And they're not great young players coming through, and still some of the old hands are there to direct them on their way. They won the Monaghan Championship. That's 20 years in a row they've won it. They won it there last week again. It's a phenomenal record, and they just have phenomenal footballers. They'll, and when you're playing them in their own backyard, they wouldn't be the biggest pitch in Ireland. To be quite honest about it, it's very hard to get room, and they play it to a T. And they've won several Ulsters and been All Ireland club champions. They've set the bar in Ulster, if not Ireland, for where ladies football needs to go, and it's a mighty challenge, and ask whoever it is.
And those are the challenges that lift teams as well, isn't it? I mean, you want to beat the best. There's no point in just beating people because it's easy. You want to beat the best teams.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, at some stage of your game, if you're going to win anything, you have to beat the best. And if you want to get handy draws and stuff like that, you're not testing yourself before you come into the big games. So you're as well playing the best as you go along, and because at some stage of the game you're going to have to beat the best if you want to be champions.
Well, thanks for your insight, as it were, and best of luck to your 2 girls and the rest of the team.
Thank you, Donagh.
Tommy Coleman giving his thoughts on the upcoming game. You'll be able to hear the reports from Eugene on your Lurgan. I'm Donagh McKeown for your Lurgan.